Well, guys, today you're gonna get sad Razorblade Mango. You're not gonna get happy Razorblade Mango. You're not gonna get angry Razorblade Mango. You're gonna get sad Razorblade Mango. And I don't like bringing out sad Razorblade Mango, but that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring out sad Razorblade Mango for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Alright, so, to be honest, to be perfectly honest, I can't really pretend to be surprised that I was disappointed by this game. Because in the months leading up to it, I saw very little from any of its trailers or its marketing that really wowed me. Now, to be fair, I said the same thing about Titanfall 2 when that was coming out, and now I consider that game to be one of my all-time top 10 favorite games ever. But with Star Wars, just everything I saw, I just wasn't feeling it. And I was really hoping that this would be one of those cases where EA had fucked up on the marketing like they always do, and there was just a really great game that they were hiding beneath its terrible trailers and its terrible presentations. But it's not. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is... it's disappointing. It's... I wouldn't go so far as to say that it's a bad game. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's terrible. It didn't make me want to fucking kill myself. But it was just bland. It was as bland as eating cardboard. And boring. Just bland and boring. The three B's. Bland, boring, buggy. And I'm just honestly at a loss for why it's getting such acclaim from people. I have a feeling that if this wasn't Star Wars, that the reception would be a lot colder than it really is, than it currently is, but I can't prove that. That's just my theory. And I think because EA have so thoroughly fucked up the Star Wars license this generation that anything semi-decent is going to be hailed as one of the greatest Star Wars games of all time. And yeah, definitely. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is definitely better than the first two Battlefront games. But that's... come on, let's be honest. That's not a particularly high bar to leap over. Like, I could squirt something out of my asshole and that would be better than fucking Star Wars Battlefront 2. That doesn't take much effort to do that. So, my biggest, I think my, like all of my problems from this game stem, almost not all of my problems, but most of my problems with the game stem from the fact that it is one of these games that's in the category of a jack of all trades, but master of none situation. Where it takes so many different elements from so many different games, and yet it never finds a way to blend them all together into something that feels fresh and exciting. It just feels like, oh wow, you took all this stuff from all these other games that I'd rather be playing than this. You've got the game flow of Dark Souls. You've got the combat design of Sekiro. And I know Sekiro came out, was in development at the same time as Jedi Fallen Order, but I'm sorry, I gotta compare it to Sekiro because that's what the combat reminded me of, even more than Dark Souls, with the focus on quick parrying and then dodging and all that shit. The combat design of Sekiro, with the swordplay and all, the map design of Metroid Prime, now I'm moving on to Uncharted, the climbing of Uncharted, and the new Tomb Raider games to a certain extent, the parkour platforming of Titanfall, and the spectacle of God of War. And I bring up God of War specifically because Stig Samuel, who's the director of Jedi Fallen Order, he's the guy that directed God of War 3, which is a great game. Which I was like, I'd much rather be playing God of War 3 on the PS3 than playing this right now. Except I don't think Fallen Order does any of these things half as well as the past games that it's lifting whole cloth from. Look, regarding the Dark Souls formula, rather than something that I feel like where they are taking what makes Dark Souls click and making it work for themselves, Instead, I see a team of people who love the Dark Souls series and want to imitate its genre tropes, but don't really understand what makes those games click. It's all very surface level stuff, and it's very at odds with a lot of the bombastic spectacle of everything else, where you have this big spectacle of these giant vistas and these large battles and all, but then you have like the very defensive based combat of Dark Souls, which there's just something like when you play it, that it's just something felt off for me the whole time playing it, when I'm seeing all these like big loud explosions around me, and it just doesn't really get that with the combat. And at least with Sekiro, it's like, you know, poor Jedi Fallen Order. But it's like Respawn knows the lyrics, but they don't know the tune. And if they weren't so focused on making all of these like disparate, separate gameplay elements try to work together, maybe they could have fleshed out and polished the Dark Souls skeleton that they were going for with this. And going back to Sekiro, I think Sekiro has ruined this game for me, at least this game's combat. And I'm not sure if it's just the crappy frame rate on the PS4 Pro version, and I'll definitely get to that later, or the game itself, but there's this weird, I don't know what it is, like it's this weird half-second input delay between things like dodging and blocking and hitting that threw me off the whole time playing it. And when you're playing a game like this that requires great timing, you need the input to match up with that. Because every time I hit the dodge button, especially in a boss fight, every time I hit the dodge button or the swing button or something, there was always this half-second delay. It was like this half-second that the main character had to like register in his brain, rather than me like clicking the button and the thing to happen on screen. And that's another thing where Sekiro, I think, did this much better, where Sekiro is just, it's amazing. The combat is amazing in that game, where you click a button and it just instantly happens, because the gameplay requires lightning fast reflexes, and the gameplay supports that, and the gameplay holds up in that respect. And with combat this potentially lethal and fast-paced, as it is in Jedi Fallen Order, especially when you're getting mobs of enemies thrown at you, this combat, this swordplay needed a lot more work, and it just never felt right. And I would have preferred it if Respawn had scrapped this idea of going for this Dark Souls style combat flow in favor of something like, I don't know, like Devil May Cry. I've heard like preferences to do that, like Devil May Cry or Kingdom Hearts, something along those lines, something more like hack and slashy, something more action game oriented rather than this Dark Souls stuff that they can't do. And after Sekiro gave me the near perfect video game sword combat of my dreams, Jedi Fallen Order, it just doesn't cut it. And another big problem is that most of these enemies just aren't fun to fight. I mean, you get the Stormtroopers, which I like to an extent. You get the Inquisitors, which I like. But most of the time you're fighting these stupid alien bugs or space animals or weird zombie things that are on one planet. I never enjoyed fighting any of the other enemies as much as I liked fighting the Stormtroopers. And even fighting the Stormtroopers has its problems just because of the combat and how that works with the input lag. But I like that the Stormtroopers actually talk. Like, we're at this stage where they're not clone troopers, they're like actual people that sign up for this stuff, like the military. And they like to chat shit with each other, they taunt you, they get scared when you wipe out all their friends and they're the only ones left. They have personality, which I liked. I thought that to me made the combat more fun than like the actual combat itself. But fighting space animals and space bugs that are just annoying to fight, that severely downgraded my experience playing it. I just was like, bleh. And regarding the map design, and they're all like, oh, you can find so many hidden secrets and so many hidden pathways and stuff. It's like, I didn't really care, because a lot of the upgrades that you get are just cosmetic. They're just like new ways for your lightsaber to look, and ways for the boring ass protagonist to look. and the ship to look. The only cool upgrade, and you can get it whenever you want, is the lightsaber colors. Like, I think that would have been more interesting to have those in the chest, because that at least it's like, ooh, yeah, lightsaber colors. That I'm into. Give me pink. Give me purple. Give me red. They don't have red in this game. I would have liked a red lightsaber. So let's move on to the climbing, which is another thing that they're aping off of from other games. In this case, Uncharted, and yeah. The climbing sucks. The climbing really sucks in this game. It lacks a lot of polish, and it's not consistent, and it will drop you for no reason at all sometimes because of the shitty animations and the bugginess of it all. And unlike Uncharted or the new Tomb Raider games, I never trusted the character to actually stick the landings when he needed to. And that to me just went yet another climbing section came up. I went, oh god, here we go again with this. And there's like sliding elements that you get that have done better in other games. The sliding sucks in this game too because Cal can't turn worth a fuck. And anytime like you had to climb, I just audibly groaned out loud and was like, oh god. And I was just so bored. I was so bored playing some of it. And I might, you know what? I might have been able to tolerate all of its gameplay problems more if the story itself was in any way memorable or involving. But it's just so boring and forgettable. It's just like none of the characters I gave a crap about. Like say what you will about Death Stranding and its occasionally hilariously awful dialogue and outrageously long exposition dumps, but at least that game kept me hooked from beginning to end. That had some kind of like compelling emotional through line through it all. And there's nothing like that in Jedi Fallen Order. Most of these characters, they suck. And aside from like the BD1, the companion droid that you have, who's kind of cute, and the villain, the main villain, who is deliciously sinister in the beginning before it gives way to yet another backstory of like, oh, it's a sympathetic villain. Oh, we should feel bad for this villain. I'm so fucking tired of that shit. The main character, I could not have given less of a shit about him. He's the most generic video game protagonist like ever. The two people that are with him, I don't even remember their names. They're just boring. They have such predictable arcs. There's like the captain of the ship that's meant to be like your quippy, like funny companion, and yet like I cared so little about him, and then his interactions with Cal felt so superficial and superfluous that when it came time for him to be like, oh, I have learned so much about humanity and friendship from being around you, and I was like, huh? Like, wait, what? Wait, you have? What have I told you in any way that would get you to change your mind about friendship? This isn't Kingdom Hearts, bro. Okay? I'm not hawking the power of friendship to you or any of that crap. And to be honest, like, I was really tempted to just quit the game a couple times and watch the cutscenes on YouTube. I really did. I reached that point where I got just that frustrated and bored with it. Because like my inner self was just having conflicts with the gameplay, and the story was just not interesting, and I just wasn't feeling any of the level design or any of that. And the sad part about it is that there are occasional spikes in enjoyment in it. Like, I thought the initial level, the opening level in Kashyyyk, I thought was pretty cool. I liked that set piece. There's like most of the moments I liked in this game are on Kashyyyk. I think like Kashyyyk is easily the best part of this game, and all the other planets are just various degrees of boredom and frustration. Particularly that fucking, oh my god, that fucking planet. Like after you get the main hub world and you go back to you do like the next mission after that. That planet is so fucking boring. I did not like it at all, and it's so buggy too. I've said this so many times. It's so buggy. It's so clear that this needed more time, that they needed more time. But I'm pretty sure EA and Disney were telling them, like, you have to get this out before Rise of Skywalker. I'm pretty sure it's a similar situation with, like, Battlefront and Battlefront 2, where they're like, you need to get this out when the movies come out. And on the even on the PS4 Pro version, I encountered an innumerable amount of frame rate drops and animation glitches and lip syncing issues and character model clipping, and just it ran like crap so many times. The load times were so long, especially when you kept dying over and over again to a boss. It was so long having to wait, and it just ground my patience to dust playing it. I just thought, like, and when it was all over, like, everyone's hyping up the finale, and I'm not gonna spoil what the finale is, but it's like, it's a decent finale, but when it was all over, I just felt so cold. I did not at all experience the high that I felt during the ending of Titanfall 2, where I literally, like, when Titanfall 2 ended, I literally, like, stood up and gave that game a standing ovation. I very rarely do that, but I gave it a standing ovation. I literally stood up looking like an idiot in my chair, and I clapped. And I went, that was fucking amazing. When Jedi Fallen Order ended, all I did was just kind of go, huh? And I texted one of my friends, and I went, hey, I'm done with it. You can borrow it now. I'm done. Get this thing out of my cabinet. It's wasting space. I don't want to play it ever again. I don't care. And what I really wish, look, I'm a big fan of Respawn because of Titanfall 2. I'm not a fan of Respawn because of the first Titanfall or Apex Legends or this game. I want to keep loving this studio because of Titanfall 2. But I think I'm gonna be stuck forever until Titanfall 3 comes out. I'm gonna be stuck in this permanent, like, it's like I experienced my first high, and I'll forever be chasing that first high again, like I did with Titanfall 2. And I'll never get it again from Respawn. And what I really wish Respawn had done with this game is something like The Mandalorian, because I really like The Mandalorian. I think that's a really good show. Even for someone who's as sick to death of Star Wars as I am, I really like that show. I would have loved to have seen maybe a first-person shooter where you play as a bounty hunter, either before the events of the prequels or in the Old Republic days, or something. Just something divorced outside of these movies. Just something away from, oh, it's set between 3 and 4 again, like a lot of other shit is. And I'm like, there's like no emotional investment, because it's like, oh yeah, I know what happens. I know that this isn't gonna work, so I don't care. Like, there's even a part where they show the Order 1886. Oh god, the Order 66 as it happens to the main character when he's a kid, and they play the music from Revenge of the Sith when all the Jedi are being gunned down in that montage. And I felt a lot more emotion during that moment from that music in Revenge of the Sith. I felt nothing with that in this game. I just was like, oh, there's that really great piece of music that I love that's being married to this scene that I don't give two fucking shits about. So I wish, like it's clear to me this game, maybe it was just like poor deciding on what this game should actually be. Maybe it was just like super playing it safe. Maybe Respawn does have the ability to make a really great third-person action game in their blood, but this game is like almost making it clear to me that Respawn's forte is not this genre. It's the first-person genre, first-person shooters. And okay, I'm gonna go on a Titanfall 3 rant a little bit here. Who the fuck do I have to beg? Who do I have to get on my hands and knees, like Sora does to Syax in Kingdom Hearts 2? Who the fuck do I have to beg at EA or Respawn or Disney to like stop having them make Star Wars games to go to Titanfall 3? Who do I have to go to? Because I want Titanfall 3. I don't want Star Wars. I don't want them to become the Star Wars and Apex Legends factory. I don't want that. I don't want them to keep doing Apex Legends. I don't want them to keep doing Star Wars. I want Titanfall 3. Just give me Titanfall 3, please. Just give me Titanfall 3. If it's anything like Titanfall 2, I want Titanfall 3. I don't want Star Wars. I'm sick to fucking death of Star Wars. I want Titanfall 3. Please, who at Respawn do I have to talk to be like, look, you, please, greenlight Titanfall 3. Please do something. Please, something. I need some kind of reassurance. I need some kind of reassurance that Titanfall 3 is happening. I do, please. I don't care what these EA fuckers say at the top. They're like, oh, well, it's a property that we deeply care about, but we're not gonna probably touch it because Apex is making us money. Who the fuck do I have to talk to? Please, I want Titanfall 3. I don't want Star Wars. I don't want Apex Legends. I want Titanfall 3. Just please, I want Titanfall 3. And I'm in a really difficult spot with this game. And it makes me feel like a giant asshole. Because on one hand, I want this game to succeed. I want this game as to succeed just as a big fuck you to EA and their mentality that everything needs to be this live service garbage. Everything needs to be pumped full of monetization. Everything needs to be a fucking grind in order to be fun, in order to be successful. Like, I want this game to succeed, to like smack EA on the back of the head and be like, hey, make single player only games. You guys are more than capable of it. Look at Titanfall 2. Like, that game has the best single player campaign in a first person shooter genre I've ever played. You guys can do this. Just let your team go. Stop having them make crap after crap after crap after crap. At the same time, though, I really don't want this specific game to be super successful, because then I know both EA and Respawn will want to keep this Star Wars gravy train going, and I don't want that. I want Titanfall 3, damn it. I want first-person shooter story campaigns from Respawn. And another reason I don't want this to be super successful is because it encourages EA that they don't need to polish a game before they release it. They can let it out of the oven before it clearly needed more time. This game, it buggy as shit. It needed at least another 6 months to smooth the bugs out, to tighten the gameplay, and not have the frame rate be an inexcusable disaster. Like, it needed more time, and then they went, nope, no more time. Gotta release it before Rise of Skywalker comes out. And it just makes me sad. And even though I can't pretend to be surprised that I was disappointed by this game, it stings all the more, because I just go, wow, Respawn is probably the only, like, really good developer that EA has left under their wing that isn't an independent studio. And I want a specific game from them, and then they're releasing this instead. Maybe I could have wanted it. You know what? Maybe I wouldn't be saying this stuff if I enjoyed Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, but I'm sorry, I didn't like it. I don't want another Star Wars game from them. I don't want maybe another Star Wars game if it's a first-person shooter. I don't want another Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I don't ever want to see these characters again, because I don't give a flying crap about them. So, do I recommend Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order? No. I mean, look, it's Star Wars. You're gonna buy it anyway, regardless of whether or not, like if you're into Star Wars, you probably already bought this by now. But look, if you've been on the fence about this game, no, I do not recommend Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Just go back and just buy Titanfall 2 instead. Buy the Ultimate Edition of Titanfall 2. Play that. Even though the multiplayer in that game is dead as a fucking doornail because everybody went to Apex Legends, the single player campaign in that game is phenomenal. That is the stuff that I want to see in a Star Wars game. Not this. Not this jack of all trades, master of none, buggy, boring mediocrity that is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I don't want it. I'm tired. And I'm sick and I'm tired of Star Wars. And this is just another one that I'm sick and I'm tired. We'll see. We'll see about Rise of Skywalker. I don't know. But after The Last Jedi, oh boy. Yeah, it's gonna take a lot to watch the bad taste out of my mouth from that one. But yeah, I'm just sad. It just makes me sad that I didn't like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order because it's Respawn. And I love Respawn, but this was a miss. To me, this was just a miss. And it's not like it's been a string of misses, because like I said, I'm actively looking for my next Titanfall 2 high. And I might not even get it with Titanfall 3, but at the bare minimum, I want Titanfall 3. I just want them to try. I don't want Respawn to become the Apex and Star Wars studio. Please Respawn. I want Titanfall 3. I don't want Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2, or whatever you decide to call it. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you like what you see, subscribe. If you played Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, let me know. I'm gonna go play Titanfall 2 now, so I can go back to being happy. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.